This is the In My Opinion show. I am Henry Hatter, your host. Each episode of the show begin with a prologue or a monologue or an opinion, if you will, regarding events, places, and people who made us who we are today and who we hope to be again in the future. Welcome to Flint, the birthplace of General Motors Corporation and a city celebrated for its rich history. In 1970, Flint reached the highest per capita income in the world and is recognized as a key contributor to the American middle class, in which all Americans benefited, including women, minorities, and people of color, in accordance with the rise of the UAW-CIO. Since its launch in 1998, the In My Opinion show, created by Ronald Barry Robinson, has become a wonderful platform for amplifying diverse voices while sparking engaging discussions. Each episode kicks off with an inspiring monologue that draws on insights from brilliant minds like historian George Moss, attorney Hewitt Chapman, Hamilton Community Health Network, the McCree Theater. These remarkable minds showcase what it means to be critical thinkers who tackle important public policy issues and navigate challenges with confidence and grace. Our mission is to empower Black voices and foster dialogue on issues that matter. We aim to portray Black culture positively, rooted in the rich legacy of the Black Renaissance followed, following World War II, and to highlight the contributions of Black Americans across the various fields. This dismantling of barriers has left many to recognize the importance of free speech and, and commitment of the Black Americans to the enduring legacy of the democracy. As George Washington noted, we have a democracy if we can keep it. With the In My Opinion show, we remain dedicated to celebrating the victories of our community, affirming that Black history is integral to American history. Together, we strive to make it brighter and more inclusive for those who believe that this is the best option. Um, Pastor, today I have Pastor Timothy Hicks. He's the pastor of Pastor your
Yes,
church.
Christian Love Faith Center.
Okay, thank you, Pastor.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, Pastor, because you're such a great person to discuss issues with and you're knowledgeable about them, I'd like to cover about three issues
Sure.
that are people want to know more about. One would be, of course, philanthropy and the role of the church
Mhm.
in reducing human suffering.
Yes.
Secondly, I want to talk about education and the role that we should take in education to better inform our kids so they they produce greater product in education. And
Yes.
thirdly, I'd like to talk about healthcare. And
Okay.
all of these issues are integral to
Oh,
what you
yes.
do in the church.
For sure.
So, Pastor, please introduce yourself very quickly.
Yes,
Give about two
I'm
minutes.
Pastor Timothy Hicks, pastor of Christian Love Faith Center. Been pastoring for 35 years. We're located on 3202 Flushing Road, Flint, Michigan, 48504.
Thank you, Pastor. Pastor, I understand now. You are quite a philanthropist. I said that that was one of the
Mhm.
things I wanted to talk about.
Yes.
You, the church, as a as an institution, a public institution that do the good for humanity and for people in need, for people who are left behind, people who are lost. And many churches seem to have lost that, from my perspective. And this, remember, this is an in my opinion show.
Yes.
I'm entitled to my
To your
opinion as I give to you and
Oh,
my
yes.
audience out there.
For sure.
So please elaborate on it.
What we're facing, especially now, is we've lost. So many churches have lost the vision for outreach and the compassion for others. We have to change our mindset because in the days of old, uh, you didn't have to really go out and do a whole lot of evangelizing because it was instilled into them to go to church on Sundays and take their families to church on Sundays. But now uh, we've lost and we have gaps in our generations where the parent that is now the parent, the mother or the grandmother, uh, they made that stance that I would not raise my children the way I was raised, or I'm not going to force mine to go to church like I was forced to go to church. And so therefore, because we got away from the Bible standard of saying, train up a child in the way that he should go, and when he is old, he shall not depart from it. And so now we've left them to themselves. And the Bible says a child left to himself will self-destruct. So therefore, we have an obligation and a responsibility to tell them and actually take them to church, because it's not that they don't even know, they're not old enough to know or mature enough to know what they really need. And so therefore, we finding ourselves facing this gap at this time. And
Pastor,
Mhm,
I just
mhm,
read something on the cell phone. I picked it up and I saw it that because I knew I was going to have you on the show today.
yes,
And this says that people in America are leaving the churches. Please explain that. What does that mean?
yes.
Well, please give us the big picture and the small picture.
Yes, because when we look abroad in these United States of America that was founded on spiritual values and spiritual principles, but we have left those principles and we have allowed society to dictate to us instead of the church dictating to the world. The world has been dictating to the church, and so therefore, and then so many times, and like I said, and I'm in that boat because as a pastor, as a leader over a church, you have a spiritual obligation and responsibility to make sure that you are true, honest, and open to your congregation, and without abuse, without demeaning, without slighting anyone or making them feel unwelcome or unwanted. And so many people have been wounded in churches, even through offerings. We were just talking about how the young lady was put on a carpet because she didn't have the full amount that the pastor was requesting. And so, therefore, so many people negatively responded to that because they said, well, if that's how they feel, then I'll keep my money and they don't have to worry about me. And I'll also leave the church because I don't want to be put on blast or I don't want to be put on Front Street or embarrassed.
What kind of churches would do that? You know, parishioners are not rich people.
No, they're
They're
not.
humble people.
Very
They're
much so.
small people. They're
Yes.
little people,
Yes.
and they're struggling to
Mhm.
search for God and for a life worth living.
Oh, yes.
So, what kind of church would do such a thing?
And you have so many where the leadership has lost sight of its purpose and its goal and its obligation to its fellow man, because the church is God's hospital on earth where hurting people come to be made whole and made well, lifted up and exhorted, encouraged, not discouraged, lifted up, not cast down. And so, therefore, there's so many different things that we are just failing as churches and as church leaders to do to where they can see Christ in us. We are to be the examples. We are to be the shepherds over the flock. So, therefore, we have a responsibility to all those that are out there, or to all those that come in our walls, within our doors. We have an obligation to treat them with the utmost respect and to let them know that God truly cares about them, and so do we. It's not just a talk. It's not just an acronym or something that we say to make it sound good, but it has to be real.
Well, just as we get into the the show here,
Hmm.
there are questions that I will ask you regarding the philanthropy that you carry on as a mission for your church, and you
Yes.
carry it on day in and day out. And there's nobody, I don't believe that there is anybody who knows you or the church that would disagree that you do this with the grace of God, with dignity, and you treat people with the same kind of dignity. What is your mission now that we're getting into the crux of our
Okay.
conversation here? You, for example, what drives you to support families in need? And many times this will interfere with your own income bottom line
Oh,
because you're
yes.
contributing much of a lot of your money just to balance the books
Yes,
there.
for sure.
So, what is your mission? What do you hope to accomplish with doing good in the world?
Yes.
If you are the only one and you have no peers, you look around. I know they're peers, but you don't often see those peers. But they are not doing equal work. Does that discourage you at all?
Many times it does become discouraging, but at the end of the day, you realize that if nobody else does, God has called me to do a work, and I have to do it while I have life and while I have breath, health, and strength. I would do it because that's what my calling is. That's what the Lord has called me to do. When you can look past uh, the lack, when you can look past uh, the sacrifices, at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, if God has called me, God will supply. If God has called me, God will meet the need. And so, therefore, I've often made those sacrifices because I told the Lord a long time ago when I got called into ministry, I said, Lord, I know you'll take care of me as long as I take care of your ministry and your people.
You know, Pastor, I'm looking at the flyer that you gave me, and that also I believe that the engineer has put on the board here. This is for a Thanksgiving dinner, and that while there are churches that do that, but many of them do it for reasons to raise money and stuff like that. But what is the? How do you um, put this together in doing good um, as as a responsibility of the church? You're not doing this for money. You're
No,
not doing it for fundraising.
no,
You are offering the best that a church can offer to do good in the world.
yes,
Please explain that.
yes, and it's free of
Explain the
charge. Oh, yes.
yeah. Explain the
On the
Thanksgiving dinner.
16th, yes,
Yes. What does that mean?
on the 16th of November. This will be our fourth annual dinner, Thanksgiving dinner that we do for the entire community. For all those who would like to come out, we do this free of charge, where we make a home cooked meal with turkey, dressing, the full 9 yards. We don't skimp on it at all. And it's all done with love. And we have even MTA has even partnered with us, and we just got a call yesterday from another senior location, and they called and asked if we could possibly, any kind of way that we can possibly get the bus to come by and pick them up as well. So we're partnering with MTA to provide transportation. They are picking them up. Usually it is going to be the 16th, which is the Sunday in November, and we will be starting at 1 o'clock. The bus will be picking up at 12:30 and getting them over to the church, and then we will feed them, welcome them in. We'll have prayer, and then and bless the food, and then we will feed them, and then after they have eaten and dined sufficiently, then the buses will take them back to their
Is
location.
this something that MTA volunteered? You didn't have to solicit them?
Well, we did the first year that we
Okay.
did it, and then they saw that it was such a blessing. Then Sister Stephanie, she partnered. She called. We've been talking back and forth with her, and she's over the transportation portion of it. And so she was saying, she said, I would love to work with you all again to help get seniors over, and such a worthy cause. And at times like this, when our SNAP benefits and different things are running at are questionable, if there's going to be governmental assistance to carry them from this 1st of November on, it's a great need. a great need uh, to meet.
Do you believe generally that people who see other people doing good in the world, there would be other people who would gravitate to the cause?
Yes. Yes, you would think there would be. And,
Because
I've been surprised a little bit though, because when we did news press, the yeah, the press release yesterday with the mayor, we had several people texting on my phone. They were calling saying, "Hey, when are you all going to start? When are you going to do it? Because we got people that would love to volunteer." And so I said, "Well, wonderful, wonderful."
how many churches were there?
It was just ours.
Just yours?
Yeah, just our church, and because the mayor had called us the day before and had asked. Matter of fact, we had met with him, and he said, "I was just talking about you all," and so he called us that evening and said, "Would you all be possible to make our press release for tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock?" So that's what we did.
Okay, Pastor, we've talked about the food that you provide for,
Hmm.
and probably for Christmas as well,
Yes.
and for Thanksgiving. You're
Hmm.
talking about doing this good deed for humanity.
Yes.
Um, now, you have another plan for, I believe it's coats. And I would like to have you tell us about the events that happened last Saturday.
Oh
How many
yes.
people
Hmm.
did you have? How you had both the donors coming in
Yes.
and the recipients,
Yes.
right? You
Yes.
had a really a lot of
A
activity going
lot
on.
of
Could you tell
activity.
us about that quickly?
Oh yes. Last Saturday we had for our trunk or treat. We had uh, we had volunteers to come and dress up their cars, and they were showcasing, had their trunks open, had them dressed up, and have the back of their SUVs open and dressed up, and was people were as they were coming in and was walking around and getting candy, getting buckets, and because we were passing out buckets if they didn't have a bucket to get candy in, so we were doing all of that, and then we also had them go into the church down into our lower level where we had inventory of coats, all brand new coats. So they was able to go down there, get fitted for a coat, get fitted for boots, hats and gloves. Whatever we had, they were welcome to it. And so we did over 800 coats and boots, and then we also did. And we had over roughly 1,000 to come through total.
1,000?
Yes,
Well,
and so
that's
we were just
phenomenal.
we were just thanking God for it.
But I wished we had the video of your great chapel and a big room and all of the storage room for coats and shoes and all kind of activities
Yes,
go on in your church because
yes,
you have such a big church, such a
yes,
humongous church,
yeah,
and it's very beautiful.
yeah.
From the
Thank you so much.
chapel to the big storage room, to the reception room, to the
Yes,
storage room where you have all of these devices to support your causes.
yes.
Um, now you must every good strategy, every good goal has a strategy to it. Now you must have other strategies ongoing at the same time that you're uh, um, producing coats and giving them away and soliciting money for other things that people need. So, what is your how do people who are homeless, are they welcome to come in and ask
Oh,
for these clothes
oh,
as well?
most certainly, most certainly. Matter of
What
fact, we
about
did have a couple to
yeah,
do
what
that.
about people who don't live in the city of Flint? Now, we talk about the city of Flint all the
Hmm.
time, but what about that donut around Flint, starting with Clio and Burton and Goodrich and Grand Blanc and Davison and Swartz Creek?
Is
Do you are they welcome to come to your church
oh,
and
oh
seek
yes.
this? Because they have the same kind of problems that we have.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct. And it's open to the whomsoever will.
Okay.
If you have a need, if you have a desire to come, and that's what we were saying even in our Thanksgiving dinner. You don't have to be homeless. You don't have to be down and out. But just if you just want to come and get a meal, you are more than welcome. And that no matter what your walk of life is, if you have a mansion or if you're homeless,
And people can do this without being stigmatized.
correct.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
You have to show some grace and dignity when you
Correct.
provide to human beings because they have
Yes.
feelings.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And then you have to know that it's not based off of perception. It's not based off, and it's a judgment free zone where you just come and be blessed.
Okay. Now, Pastor, now you're going to continue this process. I imagine what you do for uh, to help relieve um, suffering in the world, and there's an inordinate amount. Since the SNAP program is down right now,
Yes.
and it's becoming winter, there are hardships to be expected by many families,
Yes.
and there are those who are watching the show um, who want to give something, for example, or who would like to have a coat. How do they reach you?
Yes. Matter of fact, as we were sending them out on their flyers, and as well as we were letting everybody know that you can reach us by phone number. Actually, my wife, Toni Hicks, you can reach her at 810-515-0552. That's 810-515-0552.
We'll ask you again before we terminate
Okay,
the show
for
for
sure.
that. Okay. Um, now, if you were going to, you have different communities around. If you, we've heard you ask for services
Yes,
from people who live in the city of Flint. How
yes.
would you make that same appeal to people in Clio, Dan Grant, Goodrich?
Yes, if you would like to make either a donation or contribution, or if you have a need, feel free to reach out to us, and we would be more than happy to help aid and assist you in any kind of way, because that's what it's all about, making somebody else's life better.
Thank you. How do you prioritize those in need and assure donors, the people who get the money?
Yes,
And many of people who give money are fussy about the money. They want to make sure that you are providing money for the human good,
yes,
okay, not for people who don't need it.
correct.
How do you assure the donor that these goods are going to the right cause?
And a lot of times we work with different agencies. Uh, we work with Chamber of Commerce in Flint. We work with the different schools, STEM Academy. We work with uh, uh, the various schools throughout the city to find out, because the best people who would know are the counselors. They know more about the families, the needs for the families, and all those things that they wrestle with. And we've been able to help aid and assist in some of those areas uh, by able to make that network connection with them.
Uh, what will you do with the surpluses? I imagine if people give liberally
Hmm.
to a cause, you are bound to have surpluses. What would
Yes,
you do with the surpluses?
yes, like we did last year, we carried over to this year. We had like it was less than 100 coats that we had left over from last year that we added to our inventory for this year, and it was basically because, but we would have it to distribute throughout the year if somebody was to contact us and had a need. We do definitely want to meet that need that they would have. It doesn't matter what time of year it is. Uh,
Now,
mhm.
the ongoing program with the quotes and gifts to kids at the time that they're going back to school and for Christmas and got this cold out. Um, what? How will you continue this? Are you meeting the vision that you had established for yourself?
Yes, we
Because you
have.
had a vision,
Mhm.
right?
Yes, we have. We've been meeting it through some struggles. We would like for it to be better than what it is or what it's been, because the need is so great. And when you're trying to keep a church doors open as well as taking care of your own personal needs, many times personal needs have gone by the wayside so that we can make sure that we've done do justice to God's program to help aid and assist those in need.
Okay, I'm going to ask you another question that you must have had some um, experience with.
Hmm.
Back in 2015, we had the water crisis.
Yes.
the water crisis, and I think that lead was the problem, and Legionnaire's disease.
Yes.
Those two were the major problems back in those days. Um, so lead had risen to it was 15 parts per trillion,
Mm-hmm.
and the concentration went up to 22 parts per trillion.
Yes.
And people had to be given some comfort of some kind because they didn't believe in like what the government was doing. They didn't believe in themselves. They wouldn't drink the water. They had it was a lot of mistrust, and then government made some boo boos as well.
Mm-hmm.
And how did you counsel your people on that issue? Because you had to give some kind of counseling to them that made sense, not political sense, but
Mm-hmm.
made human sense.
Yes.
How did you handle that?
And it's a different type of pill to swallow. Because when you're talking about trying to encourage people to put trust or have trust in a system that has betrayed them, uh, you're trying to let them know that be encouraged. This too is going to pass, but take all the precautions that are necessary to keep yourself safe, your children safe, and protected from potential hazards.
You know, do you still get many comments from your people that you talk to about the water issue? Because the EPA has said the water's safe.
Yes, they say the water is
Yeah.
safe, and matter of fact, we've seen the numbers. But when it all boils down, my take on it, my point of view was when they changed all the lead pipes. For every lead pipe you changed in a house, you should have automatically replaced the hot water heater.
Yeah, but that was part of the housing establishment, and they didn't that was not it went
Right.
beyond the provision of the state's responsibility for
Yeah,
that.
but it should have been the state's
Yeah.
responsibility because the state was the one that implemented or imposed this upon the people. So they should have been willing to eat the bill because what you would have up, I've changed out, 'cause I do home remodeling. So I've changed out a lot of different water heaters and they are so heavy because even after they've been drained, you have all the sediment
Yes.
that still in there. So even though you change my pipe, the water is still going in and setting right inside the same
That's
tank.
sweeping out the lead and that's left in the residue.
Correct, correct. All that is still sitting in your water tank. And so therefore it's just recooking and recooking and recooking. So you never totally get rid of all the lead that's actually came into your house.
I don't know whether I ever told you that I sit on the Water Resources Commission
Okay.
for the state of Michigan.
Okay.
I've been on it for 30 years. And I know a lot about water.
Uh-huh.
I worked for that in
Yes.
General Motors Corporation. And um, I- the EPA published a report
Mm-hmm.
to Congress
Yes.
in eight in seven 1995,
Mm.
indicating that drinking water systems were leaking and posed a danger to human health and
Yes.
safety. I have the script of that one,
Mm-hmm.
and if someday if you need it, I'll give it to you. Then it republished that in 1999, and again in 2005. And people in Washington knew that because it was published by EPA to Congress. Congress
Yeah.
has,
Wow. Yes.
but nobody did anything. Now, um, I don't know who was supposed to take action. Was it big city mayors? Was it Congress itself?
Right.
Was it local jurisdictions? Nobody did anything.
Right.
And somebody had to know that. The people
Yes.
who worked these treatment systems
Yes.
for drinking water had to have known something about it.
For
But
sure.
nobody did anything.
Correct.
Not until August
Yes.
of 2015, the incident in Flint, Michigan,
Yes.
where you found 22 parts per billion,
Yes.
trillion in drinking water.
Yes.
And but now What do you think about other systems around the United States? They're in the same trouble.
Yes, they
Yeah,
are.
but we got the best end of the deal because
Yes.
we were on the grounds when the government had the money to do it. We don't
Correct.
have the money to do that now.
Right.
We got to figure out other ways to correct that problem. But I'm glad that you did um, advise people who are more stable now about that. I don't hear as much comments as I did several years ago. You must have helped out a lot on that. But now, no, Pastor, you've done a good job with, and I'm sure that the audience will agree that you've done a good job with the role of the church and philanthropy. I want to talk about education for a second. Um, every year, the state, it's called NAEP, the National Association of can't remember what the acronym is anyway, but they do a report every year, and it's published in April of each year, and it shows the performance standards for all kids.
Yes.
And Black kids as a group
Yes.
continues to be the lowest segment,
Yes.
at the lowest performance segment in
Yes.
public education. And we don't seem to be too concerned about that. Every time it's brought up, people want to debate, uh, and nobody does anything.
Yes.
Um, and you can't talk about it because it's volatile.
Yes.
Uh, Superintendents won't talk to you about that. Board members, they have limited time to talk to. But people have to, when they come to the table,
Yes.
they have to be able to sit down and talk to each other, and to solve a problem. Where do we go from here? How do we get policymakers and educators to boost competitiveness among Black American students?
And
We
it,
know that they have the capacity.
oh
Oh
yes,
yeah,
oh yes,
there's
they have
no
the
without yeah.
capacity. And where it goes from there, it has to go back to the home. When we were raised, when we were coming up, uh, even though mom had a schedule, dad had a schedule, they both worked. But mom, when she got off of work, she always made time to go over with us our homework, what our assignments were, made sure. And then my dad, he would come in, and we had a lot of nights that we got woke up in the mornings just to do our timetables. And he would go over our timetables with, so he would just call off the timetables, and anything he called off, we needed to answer. And if we didn't answer, then we got the wrath on us a little bit. But but it made us accountable for all the things that we were going through, and so it made us better, even though we didn't like it at the time. It ended up paying off on the
Oh, great. Well,
end.
people in my generation, yours, we learned to read, we learned to
Yes,
write, and
yes,
kind of effortless.
yes,
Kids are good with cell phones, but they can't do anything.
yes,
And knowledge is always there.
yes.
You can find instant knowledge. Anything you want to know, you just go Google,
Mm-hmm.
what's this or that or
That's
whatever,
it.
and it will provide information. But we don't seem to have in our community, our cultural community, the incentive to be competitive with whites and Asians. Why is that? I can ask you, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't dare ask anybody else. Okay? And I'm safe because I'm surrounded by a brick wall. Okay? Why can't? Okay,
and
go on.
and the reason why is because we have too many preconceived stereotypes that have become isms in the back of people's minds, to where they already have a preconceived judgment uh, about different races or different ethnicities, to the point where they uh, either either I'm going to be around you, or I'm not going to be around you, or I can be around you but not actually be around you, or we don't communicate, or we isolate ourselves. And really, for so much, uh, we have to get to the point where everybody matters, and everybody is a valued individual, and see them for, as Martin Luther King says, for the content of their character rather than the color of the skin.
I like that. You know, here's a question that was said to me by someone. And I know I'm going to take it's a statement. I hope you can appreciate it,
Okay.
and I hope that our audience will appreciate it. If they do, and I don't care what you look like or who you are, how much money you got, this applies to you as well. Urban students often face academic challenges. How can we address these obstacles to promote improvement? Many students feel intimidated by the notion that Black children who excel academically and compete with their Asian and white peers are sometimes labeled as acting white. What impact does this have on the ego, the pride, and self esteem of accomplished individuals who are constantly reminded to be humble? Should intelligent Black intellectuals feel the need to live two lives in order to be accepted by their cultural peers? Please comment.
Oh, I tell you, you you hit the nail on the head because I personally have dealt with that over the years. Uh, Going to school through elementary, junior high, and even up into high school, you still have people who um, have a preconceived idea about you, and just because your skin is different, a lot of people think uh, because I speak a certain way or I talk a certain way or that there's something wrong with you rather than wrong with them. And we have to understand that just because somebody has educated themselves to where they can intelligently, educatedly speak and use proper English rather than broken English, or have gone to uh, facilities to educate themselves better, that they are looked down upon or look like you're uppity or you're different or you're this or you're that. And it's not about that at all. It's about you. And you have to persevere no matter what people say, no matter what people think about how you talk, because you talk too white or you trying to be like them or and it's not about being an Uncle Tom. It's not about being anything else but yourself. To thine own self, be true. But let everything else fall by the wayside because when you look at uh, your friends, if you look at your classmates, you're always going to have somebody that's not going to like you because of who you are, what you are, or how you present yourself. And some people, even in the Black culture, are intimidated by other African Americans who can speak intelligently without broken verbs and busted nouns and us's, we's, and d's, you know, but they can communicate and express themselves without using vulgar language, without being uh, able to express themselves in an intelligent way to where they can still keep their respect level while they are yet communicating and expressing themselves in a proper way.
That's interesting. But isn't one of the greatest indication of the intelligence is to be able to um, mimic other people who are smarter, who
Sure.
are more educated?
Hmm.
Like nations do this all the
Oh,
time.
yes.
Nations. Um, the Romans admired the Greeks.
Yes.
The Greeks admired the Babylonians,
Babylonians. Hmm.
and so on and so forth.
Hmm.
And then the early Americans in the 16th and 17th century, who gave us a sense of reality that we see
Yes.
today,
Yes.
they went back and they mirrored the Greeks again.
Yes.
They, so um, there's nothing wrong with borrowing the best practices from other
Correct.
people so that you know what they know,
That's
and you
it.
can improve upon it.
Yes. Yes.
What do you say to
Take it
that?
to the next
Yeah.
level. and that's what it's all
That's what we
about.
that's what education ought to be about, right?
Yes, take it to the next level, and where I don't have to reinvent the wheel to be better. I can take the wheel that's already been invented and see what can I add to it to improve myself and the others around me. Because as we look at ourselves, because even in our educational system that we have currently, we don't have the school representations that we ought to have for having the number of students in city of Genesee County. So therefore, we have a lot of our children. We've lost them to the outskirts, to the rural areas. You
Yeah.
know, on those instead of building up, and then so therefore we get pushed through the
Schools
system.
of choice.
Yes,
Yeah. See, we used to have local community schools,
yes,
and um, and we kind of turned our backs on um, our own schools and our own communities.
yes,
We wanted to go to schools of choice.
right,
This is where kids prefer to be. And many people think, and this is where I think that parents hurt their children when they don't try to uh, improve schools and churches and behaviors in their own communities first, and
yes,
then branch out,
yes,
but
yes,
not just to go in and invade someone else's territory
correct.
because you have the rights and you have free speech and all of that
Mhm.
stuff, and destroy those schools.
Yes,
You know,
and
I think that that's the wrong thing, is to build something so other people will want to come to you.
yes, yeah, and that's what has happened in here, especially in the city of Flint, with our school system, because we've abandoned our own schools and we've
Yeah,
migrated out to
yeah,
other schools.
yeah,
And then if we're not careful, because when we were coming up, parents went up to the school
yes,
and they would check on you. And then they'd also hold you accountable. They give the teacher permission to give you a
yeah,
paddle or a swat, and then
yeah,
you make sure you call me.
yeah,
And then when if he acts up, you make sure
yeah.
you call me, and
I
I got something for
remember.
him when he gets home.
I remember. Well, I think we're going to have to draw the program to a close, and I'm going to foreshorten the show. And I'm going to ask you to come back again and we talk
Oh
about
yes,
healthcare.
for sure.
But I want to ask you a couple of political problems.
Yes.
What impact did Joy Reid's comments have on racial dynamics in America? She said that white people don't know how to dance and they don't know how to do this, and they got to borrow all of that. How do you did you read some of the comments?
Yeah, and there are people on all sides that have their challenges with rhythm, or
Yes,
challenges with different
and I'm
things.
one of them.
And so therefore we find ourselves having to uh, not be judgmental about it, because in every race and every demographic, you're going to find people that have challenges as far as how some people can, if they can't carry rhythm in a bucket,
Mm.
or can't carry a tune in a bucket. So you have somebody in every race, every background that have those challenges.
Well, these are mistakes that we make in
Oh yes,
society that you can never overcome, that they
correct.
will always live with you.
Oh yes,
And I would tell any young person who would look like me
yes,
to avoid that kind of uh, speech dynamics.
correct,
Avoid that. It does
for
not
sure,
produce good results.
correct.
Um, so I have another political question to ask. Oh,
Hmm.
um, the baseball player. Here's a good one. Who am I speaking to? Who am I
Pete
talking to?
Rose.
Pete Rose.
Yes.
Now, will Pete Rose make his way in at last into the Hall of Fame after what has happened with the NBA?
I think his days, or his options are few. For the simple fact that all the different things that they are facing, and all the scrutiny that they've gone through, and it's going to be something hard, very hard, even though as long as it's been, to overcome,
Uh,
because people don't let you. I used to have a general super, a boss that was over me. He was the area manager. He used to say, "You're only as good as your last performance." And because your last performance is what people are going to remember.
Yeah.
That's what they're going to go
Yeah.
off of. It's
Yeah.
not going to be how many attaboys you got. It's going to be that one mistake that will ride with you and stay with you forever.
Well, here's the scenario. If you've forgotten who Pete Rose was,
Hmm.
Pete Rose was, I think, a catcher. Was he? Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
know.
he
Yeah, he was.
he has an amazing batting average.
Yes.
It's like Ted Williams or
Oh yes.
something like that. He was good at,
Oh yeah.
but he liked to gamble,
Hmm.
and he gambled,
Yes.
and people knew that.
Yes.
But now in the NBA, we have all of this stuff with people who were my heroes
Yes.
that have come out now and disgraced uh, the game. He was an
Outfield.
outfielder.
Yes. Hmm.
Pete Rose was an
Yeah.
outfielder, but he was very, very good. He was white.
Yes.
Okay. And my view is that he will now finally make himself into the Hall of Fame because what has happened in the
Oh yes.
NBA.
Oh yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because what has happened has really given the NBA a black eye.
yeah. And there were so many millions of dollars, and our rich people that
Hmm.
look like me
Yes.
are in the NBA,
Yes.
and they're in movies and
Yes.
stuff like that. They're not down here as pastors
Right.
or
No.
engineers or stuff
Correct.
like that.
Correct.
But they are people who have made it. Well, I do you have any questions that you want to ask me, or do you have any last words that you want to make an appeal to your audience to continue to send in gifts and money to support your causes?
Yes. I would. First off, I want to thank Brother Henry Hatter for
Thank you.
inviting us on the show today. And it is an honor and a privilege to be here, but also would like to make an appeal to all those who are watching or listening that you please help us make somebody's day a lot brighter through our toy drive that we're doing all the way through the 13th of December, that they will be able to have a gift to open up for Christmas. And we do have our Cash App uh, uh, information on the flyer, and it is $ TDH6362. That's our Cash App. And we would be glad if you would partner with us that we can help meet the needs of so many children in the community, in the area, and all around Genesee County, that we can make a difference in a life, that we can put a smile on a face, as we putting food in stomachs, because no child should go without even one meal. They should always have food to eat, which is our right and our privilege, but it's also our responsibility that we look out for our brothers and sisters. There was a question that was asked in the Word of God that says, "Am I my brother's keeper?" But even if you're not your brother's keeper, if you don't feel like you're your brother's keeper, you are your brother's brother. And even as your brother, you have a responsibility to have compassion and sympathy and empathy for them, to help them. If I can give somebody a hand up while I'm giving them maybe a hand out, if that makes a difference, I have done what is required of me to do.
Thank you, Pastor. Um, who can follow that? In my opinion, show has come to an end. This is Henry Hatter, your host, signing out.
God bless you.